known you, what, 25, 30 years?
Well, it's hard to imagine, you know, it's been that long, yes.
And I've always known Bill Mack to be the world's leading relief sculptor. Now, lo and behold, you bought the Hollywood sign, the original Hollywood sign. Why did you do that?
Well, it was offered to me. I mean, I didn't search it out. I didn't even know that it existed. And I got a call. I don't, you know, that I owned the line from The Wizard of Oz for years. And eventually just, I don't know, would you get tired of it or it wasn't that connected to it, but eventually went to auction and it was sold. And I think the publicity from that sale, people learned that not only was I was a collector, but I was an artist. And the people that had this medal from the Hollywood sign, they contacted me and said, asked me how would I like to own the Hollywood sign. Well, you can imagine, you know, anybody react the same way I did. I mean, it's pretty big. It's up there on the hill. I'm kind of surprised you're trying to sell it to me. And they went through the whole 30-minute explanation about the original Hollywood sign being taken down, and they replaced it with a sign that's up there now. And that metal to them was so precious that they ended up storing it, and until they hopefully found, in their mind, they were going to find someone like me. And then the idea there for them was that, because I'm an artist, that I would paint images of the, you know, Hollywood legends on this precious metal I use as canvas. Well, they kind of got the wrong guy, and that was my first thing that came out of my mouth. I think I got the wrong guy, I'm a sculptor, but you know, for that, I could always paint. I could always draw and paint. I mean, that rendering comes more naturally than to deal with sculpture, and particularly relief sculpture. But there's so many people that do that in the world, so many very capable artists. And I'm in a unique area doing relief, so I never really thought of myself as, excuse me, someone that would be a professional in two dimensions. But along comes a Hollywood sign. And I probably would have done just about anything to possess it, but I don't want to squander it either. So we figured it out. They sent me a piece of the sign, and I continued to think dimensionally, what am I do with it? And ultimately painted excuse me, an image of Jean Harlow on it from my own collection. And I thought that would be the end of it. Eventually, my staff sent it to a gallery in Florida. They sold it and never looked back. Bought the rest of the Hollywood sign, bought with the Hollywood sign essentially, and I've been painting images on it now for most of 4 years.
But it's almost safe to say that you've created a new art form. The metal from the Hollywood sign. Look at Shirley. Look at Greta, James Dean. I mean, all these images. I mean,
well, probably, I think the thing that's unique about that and me is that I'm a collector. I collect rare and unusual things anyway. And to own something as precious as this, and I really get it, you know, because when I touch it, I feel that history. So when someone suggested to me that I paint these images on it, you know, I couldn't imagine what that would be like, but I knew I'd take it seriously. So when I do the work, I get lost in it. It can't hardly drag me away. Food doesn't mean anything. Really nothing means anything.
So you lock yourself away?
Well, as much as I can. You get addicted to the image and trying to get it to you know, where you want it to go. It's interesting, this piece we're looking at behind us, it's kind of an installation. It's an 8-foot tall H, and the original plan with it was to paint Marilyn up on the upper left-hand corner, Greta Garbo, James Dean, and Gable. Actually, this was going to be Gable, and James Dean was going to be over there. But I started painting Marilyn, and Marilyn's Marilyn. I couldn't stop. She just grew and grew.
I noticed it looks like she was in a car accident, but that's part of the sign.
No, I mean, I paint photorealistically. The idea is that I want the image to look like it was on the sign back in '78 or prior to that. So, you know, all the imperfections, they're in the metal. I let them be also in the art. There'd be a rare occasion if there was a hole in the middle of the forehead. Obviously, I'm going to deal with that. But for the most part, you can see there's holes in her arm and her hand, and I think in all the imperfections of rust, I think it adds an awful lot to the character of the art.
I think you have a special story about her. I noticed that you followed Marilyn quite extensively, not only in her career, but the poem that she wrote once she saw the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Well, I mean, everybody, it's a word for dreams. The idea that someone can own that doesn't make any sense, obviously. And I think that when they contacted me or an artist, they had the right idea. The only way that someone needed to restore or use all of that material. It's precious. And it meant so much to Marilyn, it meant to Greta Garbo, it meant to everybody. I mean, it meant so much to everybody. The Hollywood sign was there before all of them. At one point, I don't care who it is, Brando was a young man. And he had this, imagine someday that he'd be, be an actor before he was an actor. And it had to be humbling to even imagine, you be in the presence of something like the Hollywood sign. And it was kind of a rite of passage, as my understanding, for all of them when they're young actors or actresses to run up the hill and touch the Hollywood sign or get your picture taken with it. It would start your career. The magic that comes off your fingertip when you touch that would would be part of give you a little extra push when you actually go into that job.